Hey there, beautiful people. Welcome to episode number 10 of the Sunday Read. My name is Faith Hunter, and I am reading from my book, Spiritually Fly. Before we dive into today's episode, I definitely want to say that there is a trigger warning. This reading may trigger some emotional challenges, disruption. You may feel a little uncomfortable, so listen mindfully. Grab a cup of tea, a glass of wine, sit back, and enjoy. I'm on page 16 in Sutra 1, Lead with Love. Talk yourself into believing. 2 months before this physical realization, I found myself sitting on the steps of my apartment at 16th and Euclid, crying frantically and dialing a local women's crisis center. My mind wanted to call my mother, but I knew she wasn't the right elixir for my soul. A lovely woman answered the phone. She immediately asked if I was physically safe and if I needed to contact the police. My physical body was fine, but my emotional body was blazing with anger and fear. For over 30 minutes, we chatted and I cried more. And at some point, we even laughed. There was something special about talking to a complete stranger that enabled me to regain focus. The conversation allowed me to pause long enough to absorb the simplicity of my breath. All of her questions and each of my responses led to the truth. It was time for the relationship with my fiance to end, and I desperately needed this connection to clear the smoky fog that surrounded my insecurities. At some point, you've probably gone through a bad love affair that resulted in heartbreak and massive disappointment. Or maybe you were in the middle of a messy love dynamic that you are afraid to end. It doesn't matter where you are. Toxic relationships are massively destructive, and they brutally destroy one's self-confidence. In your own relationship, you may have thought the yelling, paranoia, unfair accusations, or random trips on the emotional roller coaster were temporary. Then, in the middle of fear and frustration and rage, you asked yourself, do I deserve this? Or maybe you pondered, how did I get here? Even after those questions, you may have looked past the warning signs and talk yourself into believing things would change. The change in behavior isn't just about a toxic partner. It's also connected to your willingness to stay in the muck. Yes, your partner may have stripped away your self-esteem, but the red flags appear when there's a loss of self-worth and self-care. They intensify when you let go of the activities, interests, hobbies, and even quality relationships that make your soul shine. Regardless of your relationship status, know you can only save yourself from emotional, physical, and spiritual annihilation by believing you are worthy of your greatness. I'm going to repeat that again. Regardless of your relationship status, you can only save yourself from emotional, physical, and spiritual annihilation by believing you are worthy of your own greatness. It's impossible to make sense of a poisonous relationship and how it blindsided you. Trust me, it only creates more anxiety and emotional contamination. Instead, Drop into you. Cultivate a relationship with your heart. Take the time to pause, to find a place of inner softness, and to remember who you are. This is the start of your journey into the self. Spiritually Fly. Thank you for joining me for another episode, and I'll see you soon. Ciao.